Alex, I've got to ask you for the rest of this competition right now, who are you looking forward to potentially playing?
FaZe. We should have beaten them in Atlanta. I don't want to beat them now.
Everyone in their own head was like, we finally have our rematch against Atlanta. We felt like we should beat them the first time. So like, this is our chance to prove that we are the better team. So I think that was just everyone's mindset going into that match.
But off the break, it is incredibly important. Minnesota has been dominating this first hill phase. They got to be aggressive right off the break.
I was going to say, you're going to be thinking
FaZe on the approach. 3 players starting to creep their way forward.
And this is a great setup from Minnesota ROKKR. It's absolutely perfect, to be completely honest with you. 3 players fall already. They will soak up so much of this early hill time.
So you can see the player crosses. He just needs to hang out. The smoke, though, blocking off one line of sight. Sim's able to find a kill, and now the ARs, you can see, having so much trouble just worrying about that little tunnel push. But of course, the damage is just enough to get FaZe near the hard point. But FaZe, again, job is done. They got Minnesota out.
Now, yes, you're getting the kills, but unfortunately for Minnesota ROKKR, Atlanta FaZe, they're still going to spawn there. So you still have to try and win another couple of gunfights and push over towards cave side just to influence the spawn out.
You can hold this from the front, though. You got 2 players that were already on the sandbags, picking up quite a few kills. GodRx has been hanging out. Like, yes, Selim's in the power position, and he was getting 5 kills, but GodRx is going to clean him up. And again, yes, FaZe get that early rotation, but Minnesota do a great job of just keeping him out for as long as possible.
And that push is going to come through, and I'd be very surprised to see Alex kill both, maybe 1, but a double kill probably not going to happen unless he gets perfect timing. He collapses through, and there's the double from Alex. A huge play for the Minnesota ROKKR. He'll see 2 more players flanking. The reaction has to come through. Unfortunately, Silly drops it. Now look at the spawn. Atlanta FaZe in a great position to break.
They got the spawn, but GodRx does have the back lane, and FaZe, despite the back spawn, they're not going to try to force it through the back. They were trying to wrap back and kind of go through that middle cut, but this is a ton of time wasted.
And people thought this was going to be a blowout or a bloodbath. It's not going to be the case. Minnesota ROKKR playing so well, and that's such an important kill for Silly to get. It opens up the entire backside of the map, and look what it's done to the spawns. Atlanta FaZe spawning in Narnia.
And how smart that is from Silly to even find a BZ in that spot. These are teams that have played together against each other so many times in scrims, and Minnesota can take it to them. Alex inside the hill.
This could be where Minnesota actually completely take over in this game. Atlanta FaZe will need to break, and unfortunately for them, they're going to have to do it through the front. Asim says no. BZ and Simp both fall, and for him now it's about playing his life. And this is tricky for Minnesota because, again, you do want to consider pushing all the way through just in case we see a second hill of our 3rd rotation.
Finally someone deals with Priest, of course, though, inside the hill. Minnesota once again fighting from a tough spot, being annoying, getting inside the hill, and now they're actually keeping FaZe pushed pretty far back.
And this is huge. If they get the scrap time, then essentially you can win the game on the first hill. You may not even see P2, but the kills keep coming through. Silly finds himself 3. That's 6 in a row for him, 3 in a row for GodRx, and Minnesota ROKKR. They can almost touch the finish line of game 1. If Minnesota don't close it out here, Atlanta FaZe have the favorable spawn for P2.
FaZe is going to have the setup for new. Their job is done on this first hill. GodRx with 3. Alex and his team get the next 2, but you're going to have to win another wave at 2 with gunfights.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're 4 seconds away from winning, but Atlanta FaZe in position to close it out here if they get every single second of P2. And 1 player snuck through. Number 4, it's Silly again. He's been a menace on the map so far in the first game, and no one's looking for him. Major Maniac doesn't know he's there. Priest tags him up. Silly doing a good job of just staying alive. Buying time for his teammates, and Silly wins the fight. Priest will fall. And now it comes down to his teammates pushing through the front door. Atlanta FaZe, do you have what it takes to break? Or will Minnesota ROKKR take game 1?
Yeah, I mean, we started off hot, got that Hardpoint win game 1, and Hardpoint's kind of been our bread and butter lately, so it felt good to get that one.
But just watching the way the guys clutched up was awesome.
As we now head over to a gun runner search and destroy, our game 2 in this series. We also both agreed that Minnesota ROKKR is a team that could potentially find themselves in a final here this weekend. Well, 2 more maps, and that will be the case. Down full Celium, Asim looking, making sure no one's on bomb. You will find one up top though, that's Simp that drops. Now you find yourself a 3v2 as a BZ shuts down Silly. Priest finds Assault, now it's 2v2. 20 seconds on the clock. Again, Asim checking bomb. Everything right, but he just needs to stay alive here. Doesn't even necessarily have to challenge this fight. He knows the pinch is coming through. Such a good read from Asim. He will fall, but the trade is there. Minnesota ROKKR, the post-plant positioning. Very, very good. If anyone pushes up towards B, he will be the player to hunt down. He gets the audio cue, but unfortunately for him, eBeezy falls for first blood. It's Alex that hunts him down. So pressure really here on Celium, but they take the corner. Asim says peekaboo. Celium falls, and Bomb should be good to go down. Of course, for Atlanta FaZe, they will need to defuse. Major Maniac will fall. Got RX with one. Simp up top. Crates. RX dodges that. Priesta hits the flank, but it's a trade. So it all falls down to Simp. 15 seconds, has to find 2 kills and hop the bomb. It's pretty much gonna be impossible. Yes, impossible.
If that was wallbangable, I would have learned something today, and Simp would have had an insane 1v2 clutch against 2 world champions. An impressive round though from Minnesota. Again, if you can get the bomb down, it just makes your life that much easier.
Well, can Celium try and win this round just by getting the bomb down? Well, the bomb is planted. The trade isn't going to come through immediately, or is it? Celium, I don't know how you just avoided that. So he has to find this kill quickly with just 25 seconds on the clock. He pushes forward. He does shut him down. It's a 2v1, and Simp's completely moved spot. This is not where you would expect him to be with a sniper rifle. The problem is he doesn't have full bomb check. Now he's been spotted with 15 seconds. All RX needs is his teammate to push forward. It's silly. Just distract him long enough. That's all you have to do. Winning the gunfight helps. Minnesota ROKKR take the lead, 3-2.
Alex, though, with the nade again. First blood at eBeezy, living up to his name. Bomb is going to get planted. Priest is going on the full flank, but you see the positioning for Minnesota. I mean, Assault is in the back corner of the map.
You have to play post-plant positioning very well. There's a flank going to come through a little bit later on. Priest shuts down Silly. That may cause some concern here as Celium also shuts down Asim. Minnesota ROKKR, have you gone and thrown this round away? Assault and RX, the only 2 up. It's now a 2v4 with 25 seconds on the clock. Of course, Atlanta FaZe wanting to defuse this bomb, but the flank comes through at the end. Now it's Assault for the 1v3. He finds 2. He's in a great spot, but with 18 seconds left and no dead silence, bear that in mind. He's going to have to rely heavily on finding this next kill to his right-hand side, or can he find Simp through the smoke as he pokes up? He's not going to do it! Celium forces the fight! Bomb defused! Atlanta FaZe steal game 2 away. And the series now tied up 1 map apiece.
The Hackney Domination was probably the only map of the series I was really worried about, because even last event in Atlanta, our Hackney Domination just wasn't looking like it did prior at our home event. So
again, series tied, 1-1. Now, game 3 done.
When you want to beat the best, or you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. This is Minnesota's opportunity to try to stake their claim off the rip, though. Celium, the former MVP, wasting no time for the first blood, and then it seems like, hey, I'll take the double kill, thank you very much. They got enough pressure over towards A. This is the setup Minnesota wants to have. It would be nice, though, for Assault if he could start heating up just a little bit, because FaZe, again, this is the most stabilized they've ever been, but Priest is going to fall from up top. Top L control has been gifted over towards Minnesota, and even then, FaZe wrapping back, just trying to make sure they stay on the right side of the map. So far, so good.
The one thing FaZe has been so good at, though, is just applying pressure all over the map. There's a fight going on over towards C, which is actually won by Minnesota ROKKR. That was Silly that shut down eBeezy. B is still held by Minnesota. A trip cap momentarily. That's going to reduce the lead Atlanta FaZe had. And, well, depending on how long they can hold it, chance could give Minnesota the advantage going into the second half.
Alex up top. He's the man trying to hold this B flag. He doesn't have a ton of teammate support. Asim is the last man there with the M4. Doesn't last very long. RX falls in short order. And again, FaZe have surged through to get to this B flag.
And look at the difference. This time when Minnesota spawn on the top side, they don't push forward towards C. Instead, they want to just collapse in over towards B. Yes, they have a 1-point lead. Silly soars in like an eagle. He shuts down Priest. Alex is there to support. Silly wants some of the action as well. And the 25 seconds that remain, we'll see Minnesota ROKKR take the advantage going into the second half. You are Minnesota ROKKR, though, you do have a lot of time at your disposal. 4 minutes 15, of course, and 45 seconds gone in this second half. 2-point lead for Atlanta.
RX with 2 big kills. Now the mid-map is clearance for Minnesota to try to push through, but not for very long, because eBeezy has the gunny with the MP5 at long range.
And look at the difference between the first half and the second half here for Atlanta FaZe. They spawn on the unfavorable side in the first half. They make the map unbelievably messy. The second half, the first 2 minutes, has been incredible structure from them. The lead now is massive. It's out of control. Map 3 is done and dusted. Atlanta FaZe will take the lead.
They've known that FaZe was the team to beat since the last time they played them, since day number 1 effectively on this game. This is what you've been preparing for Minnesota for the past few weeks. How do we take this FaZe team down?
Ramaza is a bit of a wild map. You're kind of always going to have games that are just super back and forth on that map. And it was a map they're uncomfortable on, and it was a map we're uncomfortable on too.
The coaching staff on both these two teams is honestly exquisite. Yeah, elite. Really, really fantastic staff and supporting staff to have behind your starting roster. Love to see Minnesota try and apply some pressure, but at this point, I don't think they can. And the problem now, they are spawning so far out.
But you see Minnesota, at least for the moment, doing their best job to stabilize the BZ. The next man at the chopping block, he's going to fall, and Minnesota should be able to retake the lead.
And honestly, at this point, credit to Minnesota ROKKR for keeping this as close as it is. 105-96. It's going to be Atlanta FaZe with early control of the hill, but that's Minnesota ROKKR again knocking on the front door of the hill. They'll retake control.
Minnesota right now, ton of pressure as well. You got players getting the cutoff kills at mid-map, and the smokes are going to allow you to contest for a second or just fly through and try to win the gunfights. But you got Silly and Assault, the world champ duo, on the tunnel, heady, ready for the kills. And it seems like so many of these hardpoint maps, the ROKKR just have one hill that they just dominate the other team on. Again, this B2 hill, they've gotten what, effectively, not two full 60s because of contest time, but this is where they've had the most success.
We hit the barbershop. It's Atlanta FaZe inside the hill.
Silly, again, just playing like a monster this entire series. He is 24-15, Ben, playing again at that world champ form.
We have a tied game, basically, as we rotate to what could very well be the final hill of the game.
And this is another hill the ROKKR were on point on last time around. Selling right now. Look at the map. He is completely by himself. Alex is getting cutoff kills over by Gun. Selling at some point just has to make the move himself.
This is the 1v1. He could be the hero here for Atlanta FaZe. He shuts him down. He has no spawn control and realistically no support from his teammates. But Selim gonna try and do it all. There's two. Dips and darts away. Goes for the repeat. There's number 3. Selim number 4. What an incredible play from him. Somehow still alive. Atlanta FaZe with hill control. The cavalry is there. And Selim, he's not done yet. Pushing through the smoke. The young rookie trying to make a play. Is it enough though? Is it gonna be enough?
Well, so when it got crazy, it was the P5 hill in the second rotation at the end when Selim went on like that 8 kill streak. We knew we were missing him too. Like I was calling out, I was in the hill, I was like, yo, guys, we're still missing Selim. And but luckily, I think it was Alex that rotated to the new hill. He listened and he took a route. I love that. And we've all been learning so much, just taking routes when we need to in clutch situations. So proud of him for making that play to seal the game for us.
Minnesota ROKKR still in the hill, 237, 235. It's a BZ's turn to pop off.
Either team can win it here. 10 for FaZe, 14 for Minnesota, but now it's just FaZe that can get it, and they're in the hill, Ben.
But in comes the contest, the BZ with 1. I don't think you're going to be able to win. It's a rotation fight. It's going to be a rotation fight, and it's going to be Minnesota ROKKR that are there first. Atlanta FaZe, you have 15 seconds to try and break through. Selim up top. He's going to spot 1 carpet. Is he going to win the fight? I don't think he's going to be able to do so. 8 seconds. You're gonna go. You're gonna go if you're Atlanta. Selim shut down. Minnesota ROKKR. Tied game. ROKKR push it out. They take it, or do they? Or do they? They do. They do. Minnesota ROKKR for the 2nd time in a row take Atlanta FaZe to a game 5 situation. Absolutely incredible, but it doesn't matter. Minnesota ROKKR take the game 4. They are sending Atlanta FaZe to a game 5 once again. Again, to reiterate the story, Atlanta FaZe have only lost this once, and it was to Minnesota ROKKR. And of course, meanwhile, it's a scene looking to try and trade out at least 1. Bomb goes down, and there's a big pick from GodRx. That's Priest. That makes it a 3 versus 3, and they're going to have to deal with GodRx as well.
And he knows that he's just waiting for these players to cross and try to hunt him down. He's going to be able to hear him as well. Free kill on a beast, but now he needs to support his team because Major Maniac played aggressive on the side.
He has to get there quickly because Selim and Major Maniac are collapsing in. Asim wins 1. It falls to Major Maniac. He's not going to get it. And Minnesota ROKKR, despite the 3v5 in round 1, take the round anyway. Defensively, your setup of B is almost perfect, and if GodRx can find a snipe, which he can at A, this could be bad news for Atlanta FaZe, or maybe not. Simp with the counter snipe. 20 seconds on the clock. There's surely no way he's going to win this round. Minnesota ROKKR go 2-0 up in the game 5. 2 arrows at the bottom side as Silly finds his 2nd pick this round. If that kill comes through, you can rotate this bomb straight to A if need be. A flurry of quick kills come through. No rotation will come through because the bomb goes down. Simp and Selim make that Simp for the 1v4. He falls. Minnesota ROKKR retake control of this game 5. 3-2. Going up against a player who's so good with the sniper rifle, you have to respect it. As GodRx shows you why. You peek for a split second and you fall. Assault shuts down a BZ as well. Now a 1v3, shut in the side, round done. Minnesota ROKKR are 2 rounds away from Sweet, Sweet Redemption. 4 versus 3. Alex looking to try and force the fight at the back. Celium. He's still alive as Alex creeping towards him. Bear in mind, there's 19 seconds. Minnesota, you gotta speed this up a little bit. Silly will fall. The headshot comes through. The double kill from Priest, but the trade is in! Minnesota ROKKR, one more round. They're not strangers to comebacks. This is where we see that happen so often. But first blood for Assault. Major Maniac goes down. And now a 5v4, a 5v3. Simp has fallen. aBeZy, Celium, and Priesta up. Priesta drops as well. It's a perfect start to this round for Minnesota ROKKR. Almost stayed perfect as aBeZy finds one. The challenge from Assault is enough. Celium for the 1v3 to keep FaZe alive somehow. Wins one. He also shut down Alex, and that makes this a 1v2, and it's a little possible.
He's got time. Let him work. Celium has been in spots like this many times. And even if he plants, it's going to be a quick gunfight from Assault up top.
You see him. You see him, and Celium escapes. Celium tagged up. One shot. Has to scurry away. Spot got RX. Both players. One shot. Assault clips Celium. And that is all she wrote. Minnesota ROKKR, you're heading to today's final.
Exceeding everyone's expectations consistently. And what a hell of a game. I gotta say, what a massive bounce back from Asim from that hard point to the S&D. Played like a god. What a series from Silly. The entire team, Ben. Minnesota have earned their spot in the grand final.